Welcome on in, guys. Tobin here with you. Thanks for checking out the channel. Hope everybody's doing fantastic out there in YouTube land. So appreciate you guys tuning in. If you guys haven't subscribed, if you guys could, that'd be really cool. I'd appreciate that. And also like as well. You know, that always helps with the engagement, gets the views out. I appreciate you guys helping all this stuff grow as much as you guys have. So yesterday was a fascinating day. The introduction of Odell Beckham Jr. as he was introduced to the Miami media, suited and booted. Him and Jalen Ramsey making fun of each other. They basically had the same introductory outfit. It is cool that they have this this star connection all of a sudden. They'll even have a resurgence on Monday Night Football, thinking about what they had done as a tandem together with that LA Rams matchup, which is going to come up for the Dolphins Week 10 on the road. But it was interesting. You know, Odell had some really, really cool things to say. Seems very excited to be in Miami. I got to tell you, the Canes fan in me was a little let down, the fact that he said he was almost a Miami Hurricane at one point. So that bummed me out. But I think the most interesting and most important thing that I took out of it, a lot of people are worried about, is the name bigger than the talent anymore with him. And he did a lot of reflecting on that, saying, you know, he doesn't need necessarily the gravitas of being a number one wide receiver anymore. And, of course, this is a very incentive-laden deal where he's got to put up some big numbers to get to that $8.5 million. Let me tell you something. If the Miami Dolphins end up paying Odell Beckham Jr. $8.5 million, two things have either happened. Either he was really awesome and the Miami Dolphins were able to figure out how to get all three of their star receivers the ball, or something unfortunate happened to one of your stars. But I think either way, this seems as universally praised a deal as there could be. And I think you got to give the credit to Mike McDaniel. Like, Mike McDaniel is up for a fascinating year because I do think he has a lot of proving to do. People look on this team and they say, well, who's got the most to prove on this team? And I think a lot of people will go to the quarterback. But I think in a lot of ways, I think it's Mike McDaniel. I think Mike McDaniel has a ton to prove from a standpoint of, can he figure out how to pick the Dolphins pieces up when they're really going off the track? Because they've had some pretty bad swoons for this team. And even in games, it feels like Mike McDaniel has trouble stopping the avalanche. You know, he lets a pebble turn into a rock slide. He lets a snowflake turn into an avalanche. He lets a raindrop turn into a tsunami. He needs to figure out how to adjust in these games, and he needs to figure out, you know, how to ride certain things when they're working, not get too cute. But this is all things that come with the development of a young head coach and has the reins. I know the talk was, hey, do you have him give up the play calling? I'm not for that. I'm cool with Mike McDaniel calling the plays. But I think part of the reason why it should even be a conversation is I don't even necessarily know if it's the best thing that he does. He's innovative, and the Miami Dolphins had a good offense last year. We can quibble about good teams, whatever. They were a good offense last year overall statistically. But his ability to be a coach who gets through to everybody is, I think, his biggest quality. You know, he seems to really get on the level with these guys. He's fun. We've seen the personality in Hard Knocks and whatnot. But Odell Beckham Jr. saying that Mike McDaniel was a huge reason as to why he's there, I thought was a big, big feather in the cap to the young head coach.
A lot. Just watching the film, just seeing what it is, it kind of reminds me of a place where I had a lot of success at, and as far as the Giants and timing and all of those things that he talks about and preaches. It's just, you know, he was speaking football. We sat down for hours and we was just talking football. And it just got me excited thinking about it. He pulled up my film compared to what, they're doing here, and just kind of, married the things. And I seen an opportunity, and I think time will tell in the end that this was the right decision.
How do you think your skill set?
Yeah, that to me was a really cool thing to hear. You know, Mike has, it's been said, like the dude's obviously a film junkie, as many coaches are, but like the cut-ups that he does, how crazy he gets about that. You know, they were talking about this when he did that with Tua, right, where he was trying to sell that to the front office and how good he is on the things that he wants. But the fact that he can do that from the young guys to the old guys to the guys who have won championships, got all the money, have dated stars who have been at the top of the sport, all of it. Bring him down here in a role, right? Not a starring role, but likely just a role to help give this Dolphins team something else, just to give them some more elements. Him, Jonnu Smith, bringing in some more size at running back, but even still keeping their identity as being the fastest team, no matter how lame their schedule release was. But I thought that was cool to hear from Odell Beckham Jr., that the coach was so big on selling him this idea, and Mike McDaniel was pretty open about the pursuit of him and how it happened, and they kept to the price point that they wanted, but also, look, it's a great place to live. Odell Beckham, very happy to, I think, be in Miami, and yes, that is a big benefit. I understand that the facilities are awesome. The way the organization treats its players appears, by all reports, to be awesome. But you also can't have an idiot at the helm. You can't have a guy who nobody wants to come and play for, right? Like, and doesn't go like, this is one of the things that I had like a problem with Adam Gase. Like, Adam Gase wasn't just satisfied with winning. Like, he'd rather blow things up, try and win on his terms with only guys he thought would work with his stupid system, and couldn't relate to people who were different in it. And I do think that Mike McDaniel realizes that what he has is good, but it does need some different. It does need a little bit of tweaking and spikes. And how do you get that? How do you convince an Odell Beckham Jr. to get him in here? And he's been doing that since Andre Johnson. He was coaching him in Houston. So I think that as Dolphin fans, you got to be super happy the idea that this coach garners the respect of a guy in OBJ, garners the respect of a Jalen Ramsey. Same thing with Tyreek Hill. We'll call anybody out, like Tyreek Hill said. To me, that was the most interesting thing about the Odell Beckham stuff. The thing about Tua was kind of strange, how he was talking about he was hesitant because of the lefty thing.
Definitely was a little hesitant at first because, he's a lefty, and I think I shied away from lefties, but now that I think about it, I've been throwing with Jarvis Landry since I was 15 years old. One of my trainers is left-handed, and they said he just throws different. They said the accuracy and the spin, they were like, it's not really like he's left-handed. And just watching his film, there's a lot of great things that he's been doing. Did it at Alabama, did it, here at the Dolphins. And like I say, I just seen an opportunity when I really watched the film, when I really sat down and didn't look at a destination. I looked at, myself in the mirror, or a place for me in my career. I just seen a lot of opportunity here.
It is so funny how this lefty thing, because you're like, we've all seen the viral clips, right, of like Tua. What if Tua was right-handed? And it almost blows the mind of other people where you're like, oh my God, this guy looks incredible. Right-handed mirrored Tua on Twitter looks like the greatest. I would give that guy $60 million, let alone 50. I would give him all the money in the world. But the fact that he's lefty, I got to deal with, it's weird, and Tyreek Hill has to adjust to the ball, and it's strange how your mind seems to think that is a thing it'll play tricks on you almost. But yeah, man, everybody has said like Tua obviously has had a lot of success getting getting his receivers the football. I don't think Odell Beckham is going to be any different from that, and certainly I think that they will add to what they have. He was talking about getting more of an opportunity to play in the slot, and that might have been something else that Mike McDaniel put into his mind. Like, this is how we're going to tweak things. This is how we're going to do things a little bit different. But I do feel like we're headed towards what I think could be a good marriage with the Dolphins and Odell, especially with being in a place that he likes, a coach that he respects, a non-lefty quarterback who is like Houdini. It's like he doesn't throw like other lefties. How do you know? It's just like, that's what they say. I'm like, oh, goosies. And then he's with this guy Jalen Ramsey, who he loves. It's going to be fun to watch what the dynamic is. I'm not quite sure what is fair expectations of Odell Beckham, because he's essentially coming in here on a pretty cheapskey deal, a show me deal, if you will. But I don't see it being a disaster. I think this is definitely going to be helpful, especially at the price point the Dolphins got.